Welcome to Secura Law Experience. I'm Luis Elizalde, founder of Secura Law. I'm here with
Stephanie de la Millar
and Eduardo Borgar.
This is a special episode because we are doing it during the hurricane. Nah, not really.
but almost.
Almost. It's going to be on the night. So I think it could be good that we speak a little bit about
that we rush
the
ourselves.
rush and everything. What happened during a hurricane? For example, I have a closing that used to be for tomorrow, but of course, because of the hurricane, we have to change the closing day. So it's kind of normal that kind of thing, but it's something that sometimes you have to understand or to explain to the client more if they are not here. So that's a little thing that could happen during a closing, an hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, of course, part of being here in the Caribbean, in this paradise, we also have some downsides, which are the hurricane seasons. And as you can see, it can interrupt anything, right? You can be down in the closing, you could be down here in your vacations, or you can just be at your home place and leaving your place without anybody, and then a hurricane comes. So you have to prepare for everything. That's what we're doing, right? In this case, we were supposed to do a closing, but unfortunately, for reasons outside of our hands, we have to reschedule. I think this one is...
You have an appointment, right?
Yeah.
And you have to... exactly.
I had to reschedule.
As well.
And I mean, for this particular one, it's not going to be that bad. It's going to be Category 1.
I feel like it's not going to be that bad.
So I think by Monday, everything should be pretty
for sure.
back to
Monday
normal.
is going to be amazing. Sun and everything.
Yeah, pretty back to normal.
The good side of this is that the beach usually gets cleaner. All the sargassum goes away because of all the storms. So.
At the end, that's something really good with the hurricane. Sometimes when I say that, I don't say that it's good thing, but also it is. Because it
cleanses the city, the water, the beaches, the streets, the people.
No, the people. That's true. That's true. The people, because there is a lot of people that sometimes are here not really to do good things. So as soon as they saw a hurricane or they see a hurricane,
go away,
and they clean everything. At the end, it's the nature. Nature is wisdom.
Yeah.
Not resilient people.
Yeah, exactly.
We are resilient, so we are here. Have been, how many hurricanes have you been so far?
How many hurricanes so far? I've been here since 92.
When you lost your dog, right?
Yeah. So pretty much the strongest one was Wilma, and like
2005.
I think around 7 or 8 hurricanes total in my life.
You see, a survivor.
In the office, we already have
3.
Three?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's already 3 and this one is the 4th.
Yes.
Because it was 2 I remember it was 2 in the little office. In the middle office was 1. And right now, it's 4.
Mm-hmm.
4.
This is the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're
here.
still here. Growing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We are not going anywhere.
We lose 2 attorneys in the hurricane.
Yeah. I mean, meaningful growth requires stress, so that's part of the trick.
But do you think there is a legal, looking for more to the podcast, there is a legal issue with an hurricane? Not really, or I don't know what.
I mean, I'm thinking regarding this closing. If the closing supposedly happens today, but the buyer it's not able to come for the closing, and we are in the middle, maybe the seller say, okay, I'm going to sign the deed, but the payment will be made until the physical possession of the unit. In that case, what do you think that it will happen regarding any damage?
You're saying that, for example, the seller is gonna sign the title until the buyer arrive, or
The seller signs the title today because they have to leave. They want to run away from the hurricane.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
No?
sense. Makes sense. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
And he says, okay, I am going to sign. And the buyer says, okay, I'm not able to send the funds before I come down to Playa. So the keys will be kept in custody of the attorneys. And there is damage regarding the hurricane.
Ah, good one. Good. Okay. Sounds good.
To whom
Wow.
the damage will correspond.
Who am I representing again?
Exactly. That's
That
the
is the
question.
first question.
No, but for example, like thinking like we are in the middle, like not.
For
This
me,
is
it's
not
very
an
easy.
advice.
It's not our clients.
Uh-huh.
It's a situation.
We are
looking it
impartial.
outside.
Exactly.
We're the
We are
judge.
outsiders.
Exactly. From my point of view, legally speaking,
Seller.
yes,
Yeah.
totally. If they never received the money, if they never gave possession, or the buyer didn't receive possession, the seller is responsible, and he's the one to solve.
But
all
he
the-
will say, I signed the deed. If you don't have the possession, it's because you haven't paid me and you are not here. So it's not my responsibility.
Yes.
But again, the buyer can argue that this is something of an act of God, because for some reason he could not come down, things broke down because of the hurricane, maybe.
No, he
Yeah,
can say
right.
that.
I mean-
it's totally.
Yeah, I mean,
so
he-
it's not responsibility for the
He
buyer.
can be protected, in my point of view.
Totally. And there is not a breach of the contract because it's an act
An
of
act
God.
of God.
So
Okay.
it's from my point of view, it's kind of simple that the seller is responsible. He can say, I signed the title, but he signed the title, but not the trustee bank, if there is a trustee bank. Let's say there is no trustee banks, to keep it simple. Only seller and buyer.
Purchase and sale. Uh-huh.
But at the end, remember in Quintana Roo, if there is not public registry, until
Okay.
the public registry, the owner is the buyer.
Look, I mean, to try to give it a little bit more thought about that, I think...
No, the seller. No, sorry.
No. I mean, the seller has the responsibility, but I think in this particular case that he already signed the deed, he signed it because he wanted to and he needed to because he's going away.
And he's
Be-
running away.
Because he very...
No. Because of the hurricane.
he could say, hey, things are not going to happen right now. Let's just wait. But he'll have to return. So that...
To give the
extras-
possession?
No, to sign and to give the possession. But in his mind, he said, I'm just going to wash my hands. I'm just going to sign now. And it's not my problem. That's his thought process. Right?
Yes.
He can
In
sing
an
that.
ideal world...
He can sing that, but it's not the,
No, of
not
course,
the
in an
correct.
ideal world, he would say, okay, this is not going to happen now because of this
Exactly.
thing. I'm going to go away and I'm going to come back.
And what
Right.
will happen if, usually when the seller signs the deed, the purchase price is paid, even though, no? In that case, what will be your opinion?
To
The
pay
seller has signed the public deed, and the funds have been released on his behalf.
Maybe going to a middle ground in that case.
I will say
Still-
that still the seller is responsible.
Totally. It's in that kind of thing. It's white, black and white. Very easy. The seller is still the owner. Okay, he received the money, but the buyer never have the possession. So there is no way that
And
he can
hasn't signed
protect
the
that
deed.
asset.
So the line is drawn at the possession.
Totally, always. That's the reason we always say the possession is very important.
Everything, yeah.
So in that moment, he can pay, he can do everything, but if he doesn't receive the possession, how he can protect the asset or
the
the
asset.
house or the real estate? There is no way.
It's not in his hands.
Exactly. So there is no way that, hey, you're responsible for a damage that you cannot protect. Hey, come on.
Yeah. Of course. How is he going to put the wood in the windows if he's not.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not here. Exactly.
If he doesn't have the possession or he never received the keys to give that keys to another one, you know, that kind of things. But this could be a different. Today the seller signed. He said, "I'm gonna receive the money." The buyer sent the funds because he know that the seller already signed, and the buyer in an email because it's legal. In an email, he said, "Give the keys to my broker." Because he is the one that is gonna get the possession. If there is an email with that, I think the buyer is the responsible.
Yes.
Because
It depends on the physical possession.
And
Exactly.
what if the keys are in a lockbox?
No,
Yeah.
that's the thing. No, that's the thing. If
Let's
he
complicate it
said,
more.
if we have an email or during the closing there is an email saying, no problem. Yeah, I already pay. I'm here in whatever country. Give the keys to my broker or to my attorney, and I accept the possession of the property in this moment because you already signed. I already pay. In that moment, he's there.
Totally
responsible.
agree. Yes.
Because it's in writing
think
that
same.
he's accepting the possession of the
Yes.
property.
Of course.
So, I mean, despite what you want to add this, my advice will be if there is any hurricane or any other natural disaster coming and you need to leave, sign a power of attorney and leave it in the hands of your attorney so they can handle it properly after the
Hurricane.
the hurricane in this case.
Mhm.
So you don't have to deal with these kind of situations that can put you in a trigger situation or jeopardize your legal interest in a real estate transaction.
Totally. Sometimes it's good to take a break, and breathe a little bit. 2-3 days is not gonna change the world. So that could
Totally.
be. Yeah.
That is part of the Caribbean lifestyle. You have to
Yeah.
chill a little
Exactly,
bit,
exactly.
Okay, there is hurricane coming. I was mentally already established to sign on whatever date. It's not possible. I will leave it to my attorney so he can take care on in the few next weeks when everything gets normalized.
I think it's something that everybody has to consider. Nowadays, everything is like crazy. They want to close really fast. They are not reviewing document. They want to close. Hey, it's not like chill. Like, hey, I don't care, but take a time to do the correct things. I remember, as I said, normal closing time was 90 days. Now it looks like everything is 45 days, and still they are saying, hey, why 45 days? You can do it in 2 weeks. Come on. That kind of thing that if you're going to rush this kind of thing that is a big investment, you have to think a little bit about that.
Take your time. If you are in a resale, take your time to review the house. Go often, at least 2-3 times to see the house, to find the details that you want to know more about, to make an inspection. If the house it's antique, maybe you have to hire an specialist so they can make a deeper inspection in the house to find out any kind of hidden defects.
Something that is important to say, the inspections here has to be more, I think you have to be more aware that kind of inspection go to the pipes of the property. I'm not the expert. I'm just telling about the experience that we already have with some client, because sometimes you are more related with inspection with the house structure, I don't know, the mold, that kind of things that in Mexico doesn't happen because everything is not by wood. You build through block and all this kind of material that is not gonna happen. It's not something bad is gonna happen, but your pipes, everything related to water here, I think it's the most important that your inspector has to review. It's just an advice. I'm not the expert.
Yeah.
It's not legal
As
advice.
part of the community.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Neighbor advice.
Yeah,
Totally.
that we live here. That's the normal. That sometimes you don't realize that because you are not aware of that kind of things. So that's another thing. What else about the
Okay.
hurricanes?
I will say that this is a time to relax, be calm.
Enjoy the
Every
hurricane.
In every aspect, even though the legal stuff has to be taken care of in a more uh, peaceful and less stress way, so everything
Yeah.
can be completed accordingly.
I mean, it's a good time to disconnect, basically.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just for a couple of days, and every party should be in the same page because there's some people that just want to rush things, and that's when problems happen.
I have a question right now. What happened with the developers that take the advantage that is on a hurricane? What I'm saying is like, yes, we know that the developer that is in delay with the delivery of the property of the construction, whatever, and they say, because we have in 2024 the hurricane. What is the name? Burial.
Burial.
The hurricane burial. That's the reason we are behind the construction 6 months. Dude, really?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be equivalent
Good.
to the damages caused by this thing, right? If it was a category 5 and it's a really destructive hurricane, well, we can think that it broke down some walls. I don't know, materials were lost.
Freeway,
Mhm.
whatever.
That could make sense. And even then, 6 months, it's a lot because you have to calculate how many days you were stopped in the construction side, cut your losses, and tell the clients. But I think the important part there is the communication because the developer has to give notice to everybody that
Good,
the hurricane
good.
is coming,
Mhm.
has to give notice again that they stopped for X amount of days, has to give notice when they started, So
To
everything is crystal
consider
clear,
that,
yeah.
that term that they didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But normally, it's
No,
something.
it's in their best interest to do it because they will give themselves enough time to finish without everybody going mad. But they don't do it. They start answering, and people start getting nervous, and that's when
Exactly.
bad things happen.
But you, I don't know how to say it, but you go directly to the point that the most important is the communication, and it's not like, hey, I have a hurricane. No, it's not a phone call. It's a notice. You
Exactly.
have to notice to your client as developer that you're gonna stop the construction. I don't know, 2 weeks
Yes.
minimum. Hey, but the hurricane was only 1 day or a couple of hours. Yeah, but for all the scenes, it was too loom. I have to bring all this
No.
kind. They can say 2 weeks.
And
something
also,
that,
they has
from
to
my point
stop
of view,
before. I mean, they're just counting from when the hurricane started to when they finished. And no, in a construction
No.
site, you have to do it before, at least a day before, to secure things, to put away everything, so the workers can go to their respective homes or villages, whatever they live. And then when everything passes, you need to come back and start assessing the damages. And then in a couple of days, you can restart.
Yes.
But it's at least a
2
week.
weeks.
Yeah.
2 week, a week, something, but not 6 months. That sometimes they try to do this.
That, I mean, it could be that some supplier had their storage was completely damaged, so maybe they don't have the wood that it will be used for the construction. Okay, but show me all the communication, who this supplier was, some more precise information that allows you to understand better. It's not like, well, yes, the hurricane had a 2 weeks consequence, but on my end it's 6 months. Okay, but why? To be more specific. I understand that could happen, but the developer has to be very specific about the issue that they had and how they will solve it. And if it was a negligency, how they will compensate yourself as a customer.
And I think, and if they notice, they are fulfilled the contract. They are doing the thing, so they are covered. They are covered if they are doing that, the correct thing. If it takes 6 months, from my point of view, is unbelievable. But could happen. You never know. But if they all the time they notice to the clients, they are not in breach of the contract. They're not gonna have problems, and that term is going. You have to add that time at the end of the contract, so they will be safe. But just an advice for the developer, I think. I think that more for the developer that they have to notice all their clients to avoid
Yes.
any issue.
And for the clients that when they buy from a developer, the communication clause, I will say, has to be, it is very important and has to be super clear that they have the obligation to communicate with you in quarter basis, I don't know, some timelines that they have to fulfill about getting communication with you to inform about the stage of the construction.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely.
I'm
I feel like-
sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry, but I was thinking something totally out of the thing of the hurricane that I'm thinking right now that is gonna be a really good benefit for the beneficiaries of the trust that they are with Interacciones or used to be with Interacciones. We spoke with Banorte last 2 weeks ago or something like that, and they are saying if you are with Interacciones or now you are with Banorte and you are paying the same amount that you used to pay with Interacciones, if you send an email to Banorte asking for the real fees that they have right now, they're gonna change that to your trust. So
Yeah.
you can do that. It's just
Super good benefit.
a good benefit. You are gonna save some money there. So
Use the promo code Securala.
it's not true, but you get it from us.
Yeah.
But it's a super good idea.
Yeah.
We have to talk to Banorte.
Whenever you send that email, just promo code, and you'll get a good discount.
Yeah, exactly. Just I was thinking about that, and also related to that, and something that we were talking about before the podcast start or began. It was about the substitute beneficiaries. Already, everyone hope that you see the podcast. If not, you can go back to the others. Substitute beneficiaries in a specific scenario that we have right now. I don't know if you want to speak about that. Let's start with that.
Well, just to make a summary, when you set up trust, when you buy in a restricted zone, you have to appoint substitute beneficiaries that will be the persons that in case of death or legal incapacity will receive all the rights of your trust, will be the ones that will step into your shoes. We have a specific case where the buyer or the owner appointed two physical persons. Then she granted a will in the state of Colombia, appointing a non-profit association, and then she dies. So now the non-profit association is claiming to be the substitute beneficiary of the trust.
From my point of view, at the beginning, that not has to be related. Of course, they can do a lot of things, but at the end, the one that has to be more aware of that situation is the substitute beneficiaries appointed in the trust that is in Mexico. You know, I think if they don't care, the substitute beneficiaries, the one that is in the will in the United States, they can do a lot of things related here in Mexico, but first I think they have to do the normal, get the apostille of the will, get the apostille of I don't know how the will works in the United States. They just open it and here's your house, here is your money or something like that, or it's like here that they formalize with an attorney. I don't know.
No. It was granted in Colombia completely, and it stated that all the assets of this person will belong to the non-profit association.
Okay.
It was a kind of universal will to heritage. All her
Last will.
Yes, exactly. So, to be fair, because at the end, long story short, the non-profit association claimed judicially in a court in Mexico to be the beneficiaries, and the courthouse failed on their behalf. So now the trustee bank has to sign on their acknowledging that they are the substitute beneficiaries, and they have to be now the beneficiaries because this person passed away. The clause of in the contract, I think it was very rudimentary, I will say. By that time, it was in 2002. It's the date of the deed. I think we are 22 years after that and beyond. So I think we made some progress. I was reading the clause that currently Banco del Bajío has, and it's so much better and very well specified how is the process. Here was like they have to inform to the trust through the formal process, and that was it. So if you have a property that you own before, I will say 2010, maybe.
Or 15, I will say, 2015.
You have to review. You have to review the clause, and I think it's worth it to take care of it. Send or sign a new letter instructing the beneficiary, even though it's the same one, just to make sure that nothing is going to happen. And if you don't have changed this person from many years, you are ensuring that this is your last will.
Yeah, that's something good. But more in specific about the case, I think that if this association go directly to the bank, and the bank say no, because at the end that happened. But of course they don't have anything. The bank doesn't have any background. Hey, what you are coming saying that you are the owner, Hey, I have a will. Yeah, okay, that's good for you, but that's a will in the United States. Hey, but it's a will universal all around the world. Yes, okay, but still United States. And I'm not sure what they do. If they sue in Mexico to the bank, or they just go to the judge, and the judge says, okay, the bank, you have to approve, or you have to realize or verify that they are the owners. I don't know how to say it. But in that moment, the bank, okay, I already have from a Mexican authority the instruction to accept this guy as the owner of the property. So the bank is not responsible for anything. It's already, the responsible is going to be the judge.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So in that case, it's not like the bank is guilty or something, because at the end the bank is in the middle. They don't have, they are not judge. They cannot say yes or no. They only follow instructions. So if they have instruction for the judge, they have to accept this. And the only one that could say something is the other substitute beneficiaries. But if they don't want to say anything, no problem. But from my point of view, that's the way it has to be done, because there is no other way. Just to arrive and say, hey, I'm the heir of this will. Yeah, and then,
What will happen? Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, in my understanding, the bank has its own procedure. So if we're talking about a property in a trust with them, ideally, the process to follow will be theirs, not anyone or anything from another country with another legislation.
Exactly,
in my understanding, that's what they should follow.
Mm-hmm.
And if the judge fails differently, that's the situation.
Yeah, but
at the end, the bank has to follow instructions.
Exactly.
That's the point.
And at the end, also the bank is like,
Yes.
hey, I'm just following
Not
instructions.
responsible.
I'm
And
not
the
responsible.
The clause was very weakly worded. Like, yes, it is not very clear.
That's why
like it
most
is now.
banks charge you with the contract modification whenever you do something. In 2024,
Mm-hmm.
that's because they are updating all their contracts with every client to avoid this kind of situation.
But still, it's a totally crazy situation, because you already, appoint your substitute beneficiary, but in your will you put something else. It's kind of weird, really weird. You know, it's something like, okay, I forgot that I have a house that I put my kids on. They are the beneficiary
You
of that.
think?
I mean, it's part of the responsibilities of the beneficiary towards the bank to let the bank know of any change,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the bank says, well, if you don't tell me that you're going to change your beneficiaries, it's not my problem. I'm going to follow the instruction you left me.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's the
That's the point.
That's the bank stance,
Exactly.
right? I'm not going to do anything. You change somebody, I'm sorry, you never told me,
Exactly.
right? And that's when the deal and the judge and things come up,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end, the bank has to follow.
Only through a judge.
If the
Yeah.
instruction doesn't come from you but from a judge, they have to
Yes.
follow it.
Yeah, but not some from us, sir.
Yeah, from a third world country.
No. Oh my God. Cancel. No, a third party that is not
Femi.
involved for the. Oh my God. That's crazy. We don't know about exactly what country
Yeah, yeah.
Eduardo is living right now. We don't know this guy. So
We don't know what country it was.
that's
Okay.
that's it was like a crazy episode. A lot of things happen. Meanwhile, you're just talking and listen to us. But thank you for stay here during the hurricane.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week with the updates.
Bye.
Bye.